Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Crystal Lake, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Friday. We made it to the end of the week, guys. Friday, August 12th. I was way off. 12th, 2022. I always get the date wrong, but you know what? You're listening, you're here, you're in the right spot. Unlike those times where we had those bizarro live streams where you weren't in the right spot, you're in the right spot right now. Oh man, everyone that's listening in on the audio only version on the podcast, hopefully you're having a good run out there today. I had a really nice, easy run in the Bondi 8, 13 miles, exploring some more of that Prairie Trail, which is a paved bike path, at least like most of the way it's a paved bike path. Getting to run through some more of these suburbs is actually really, really nice. Enjoyed myself out there today. So hopefully you're having a good run too. Everyone watching this on YouTube, but not live, welcome to you guys as well. Cheers. You made it to the end of the weekend, and hopefully you're having a great day. I got a bunch of news today as well, and coincidentally, I brought the right mug to get to talk about that too, but that'll be a reminder because I got an unboxing to do. I've got some other news to talk about coming up with the Falmouth Road Race, but let's say hi to everyone listening in the chat. We got Ray, Sergeant Ray's here. He says, hi, Co. Long time missing you guys. Current news. Looking forward to my Long Beach Marathon effort. Nice. That'll be fun. Very cool. What's running in LA area like these days? Is it hot? It's hot. Is it hot this time of year? I don't know. I keep getting in these emails because I signed up for because I did the LA marathon last year. I keep getting all these emails. There's a Santa Monica 5K coming up. I'm like, can I fly to Santa Monica for a 5K? Ultimately, I decided no, I can't do that. Can't justify that. But wondering what the weather's like out there. Because once you get into September, things start to get real nice around here in Chicago. August, it's still a little bit hot, but it's been not that bad overall. Jonathan Crossley says, congrats on running NYC. Yeah, thank you. I'm super excited about it. We've been talking about it here in the chat a little bit. But very excited to be running the New York Marathon. I've been trying to get into the lottery for the last 4 or 5 years, I think. Maybe 3 years. So not terribly long. Other people have certainly been trying for longer. But it had gotten to the point where I was just like, I'm never going to get into this race. And the good for age time for that race is in my age group, 40 to 44, you got to run a 2:58 or faster. So I was still, I'd have to shave off a good 37 seconds from my marathon PR to hit that. And I was just like, I don't know. Just seems so daunting. So very happy to get in kind of this other route through the side door, working with New Balance to be able to run this race. So it should be pretty cool. Yeah. I actually met some New Balance people when I was up in Eugene. I told you guys that story, right? Me and Tommy Runs were in line waiting for some food, and we saw a woman walk by with all yellow SC trainers, and we were like, what is that? And they noticed that we were geeking out over it. And I'm guessing they probably didn't get that much attention from her wearing those shoes. But game recognized game. Shoe nerds wanted to talk to the other shoe nerds. So they came over and talked to us. So that was pretty nice. All right, let's see who else we got. We got David Sachs gives a nice wave emoji, says, hi, everyone. Luis Becerra says, yo, what's going on? Just passing by to say hi to everyone. Have a great day. Hopefully you're having a good day, Luis. Sean says, hi, everyone, with a wave. Rest day. Paddleboarding this AM. Feels like the summer is beginning to slip away. For real though. One of the things I feel like, people do New Year's resolutions. They should do people should do summer resolutions too. But instead I didn't do a summer resolution, but here I'll do a summer regret illusion, or what I didn't do this summer. Crystal Lake, the namesake of this town, has a beach, and there's an area where you could rent a boat, like a kayak or a canoe, or a stand-up paddleboard. And I love stand-up paddleboarding. I'm terrible at it. I have no core, so I got no balance left. My ankles and knees are all weak. I've been working on them, but still, those stabilizer muscles, I could use some work. And I felt like paddleboarding would be a great way to do that. I'd be like, I get up, meet the sunrise out on Crystal Lake. But then I was like, I think the lake actually doesn't open, because there's lifeguards and stuff. And if I want to rent the paddleboard, I got to wait for it to open. So probably not sunrise, but I was like, maybe morning paddleboarding. That'd be great. Made it out 0 times. And I probably will make it out 0 times. So Maybe maybe next year. Maybe next year. Sean Marshall's here, says yo yo yo. What's going on, Sean? And Bruno Lee says shoes, 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 shoes. All right, let's take a look at these. I feel like most of you guys can pretty much guess what these are. We've been talking about these. So these are from Saucony. They are, you can see them on the side of the box here. These are the Endorphin Pro 3s. These are shoes that I bought myself. No one sent them to me. No one paid me to do this unboxing. I'm just super excited. They just arrived and I want to share them with you guys. And I think it's going to be a minute before I have a chance to like put them on the channel and review them. But I specifically waited to get the black colorway. The pink colorway the pink color. We don't have to say colorway. It's an unnecessary syllable. We're just going to say color. The black color looks great. The pink color also looks great. But this black one, I feel like it looks like a fish. I remember seeing it at TRE, the running event last year, and you could really see it well in kind of the lights in the studio here, or aka the basement. Like the way that the light reflects off of all the stuff. It's like fish scales in like a nice way, in a mermaidy kind of way. Oh, and look, they even got one of these sticks in there instead of like the normal stuff that's in a shoe. It's nice little extra touch. But like the shoe is basically like see-through. Like through here you could see, I mean, it's just super airy. Saucony does such great race uppers. I'm really excited about it. Now, I've been concerned about this shoe because the Endorphin Pro 1, the Endorphin Pro 2, I like the Endorphin Pro 2 more than the Endorphin Pro 1, even though they feel like the exact same shoe a lot of times. But I started doing a lot of threshold mile repeats in the Endorphin Pro 2s, and I started to really love that shoe. I ran a half marathon in the Endorphin Pro 2s, won my age group in that half marathon. Pretty fun shoe, but I never thought that it was like a full marathon shoe because it was a little bit too firm. I clearly just unboxed these, but I did get a chance to try on Connor's pair while I was out in San Luis Obispo at Running Warehouse. Just trying them on like in his office at his desk. But standing in them, they felt a lot softer. And that was my first time standing in them. So it feels like it's a taller shoe, looks like a taller shoe, and underfoot, just standing in them, walking around the office, it felt like that they were softer. So I don't know. Hopefully this could be a marathon shoe for me this year. That'd be pretty fun because the shoe looks great. Very excited about it. Sorry about that. A little extra bump. The microphone did not like that. Time to Run said, yes, a Saucony Endorphin Pro 3s. I ran my first marathon in version 1s, and they were perfect. Ooh, you must have stronger feet than I do, because I don't think I can run a marathon in version 1. And Calvin warns, don't wear white socks in case they stain like the pink one. Did the pink one stain? Oh, that's a surprise. Interesting. All right. Someone said that they were working with the Speed 3s. Yeah, Joe Greshner says, I just got the Speed 3s and love them. The blue growing on me. Are those Speed 2s you mean? Because I think, did the Speed 3s come in a blue? I'm not sure. The Speed 3, as far as I understand, are still only available in Europe. Unless something, I think they don't come out to the US till like next week or so. I'm trying to think. But anyway, I'll be buying that one too, because I'm really excited for it. But yeah, the blue ones though, I think are Speed 2s. But if anyone's tried the Speed 3s, and maybe you have, that's what you got, Joe. Yeah, I'd love to hear more. And Lester DeLuna says, my Endorphin Pro 3s are waiting for me once I get home today, and I'm stoked. Nice. Very nice. Sean says, Kofuzi, the rental place may have deals on buying a rental stand-up paddleboard at the end of the season if you think you'd be into it. Ooh, see, I'm definitely into it. The thing is, I mean, we got space now, but I don't want to be transporting a stand-up paddleboard. The allure of the renting the stand-up paddleboard is that I just go somewhere, get a paddle and a vest, I'm assuming, and then they store all the paddleboards. That is very attractive to me, that option, you know. So if I bought one, I'm like, where do I put it? Like, you tie it to the roof of your car? Like, that's the part where I'm like, my not having lived with a garage for most of my life makes me just like, I just don't, where does one put that? You know, down by the lake in Chicago, on the weekends in the mornings a lot, there would be people like with their cars parked along like near the lakefront, all in a row. It would usually be like 3 Subaru Outbacks in a row, and people that had little mini air compressors and inflatable stand-up paddle boards. And so I feel like in the city, that's what a lot of people do. You know? Yeah. Yeah. Adam says go with the inflatable. Yeah. Sean wants to know, hey Mike, can we get an update on the New Balance 880s? I'm a 1080 lover, but discouraged by the V12 price. And your video said 880s were better. Yeah. I've been even taking them out in some of the trails out here. I mean, the trails out here aren't like hard trails, right? I mean, some of them would be difficult for people that are just walkers, but I think that, no one's going to think that it's like a hiking trek kind of trail. Although there is one spot where like the incline is like 15%. But I've taken them on that grass, dirt roads, gravel kind of stuff, and the 880s have done really well. If you're getting on a lot of softer surfaces, I would say that go with the 880s versus the 1080s if you're worried about the price. The 880s this year are a lot softer. So they're more like the 1080s were, or they're more 1080 like than the 880s were last year. Last year for the 880, what are we on 12? The 880 version 11 felt a lot like the Puma Velocity or the Cumulus, like those like workhorse kinds of shoes. Lots of rubber outsole, some softness in there, but the rubber outsole kind of like dominates the run experience. The New Balance 880 version 12 this year is just a lot springier. Still has a lot of outsole rubber, but it just squishes real nice. It's nice and soft. Still has a wide platform for you to land on in terms of the forefoot. So like it doesn't look like it could be a fast shoe, but you could pick up the pace in that. It's nice and springy and light. It's kind of like if you mix the 880 with a Beacon, that's kind of what the 880 is like this year in a really nice way. I feel like there's a little bit more protection underfoot from like road impact than the Beacon provided. So it's just really, I'm really bullish. Is that the right word? When you like something a lot. I really like, I'm a finance expert, by the way. I really like the 880. It's a good shoe. Dad Around says, with the stand-up paddleboard, you hang it in your garage and transport it in a rack. See, I don't have a hanger for the stand-up paddleboard or the rack for the paddleboard. So it would require many purchases. But I feel like, you know what always annoys me is that when there's rails in a car, you still need to buy a rack to attach to the rails and then the attachments that hold the things that you want to transport, whether it's a bike or skis or stand-up paddleboard. I feel like that's just like a lot of things. I feel like if there's rails, there should be a uniform rail system that you could just start attaching stuff to. I never understood that. Anyway, I don't know. Yeah. Xavier Gutierrez wants to know, is the New Balance 3 more stable than the New Balance 2? I'd say it's similar. So I feel like it goes super squishy in the New Balance 1. They figured out a way to stabilize that foam in the New Balance. Squishier in the Nova Blast 1. They figured out a way to stabilize it, especially in the ankle for the Nova Blast 2. And Nova Blast 3 goes squishy again, but it's still stabilized in the back. So like, is it more stable? No. But is it super squishy like the one? No. So hopefully that answers your question. All right. Andrew, what's going on, Andrew? He says, I'm late to the party. Congrats on New York. Just get an inflatable stand-up paddleboard. A lot of votes for the stand-up paddle, the inflatable one. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I just feel like I would look like, I think that I probably stick out a little bit here in Crystal Lake, but I feel like I would really stand out if I'm like showing up and it's like, hold on guys, I'll be ready in about 6-7 minutes. Just let me inflate this thing. And I'm like inflating my paddleboard. I don't know. That's one of those things where like stand-up paddleboarding, camping, pretty much most outdoor activities, I would love to do. I just need like a Sherpa, really. Not a Sherpa. I don't need someone to carry my stuff. I just need a guy to I need a friend who's more into it than I am to kind of like, help hold my hand as we get into the water kind of thing, metaphorically speaking. Yeah, Dad Al says a nice rack is big bucks. Calvin also says the rack and car roof storage is surprisingly expensive, isn't it? I mean, on the other hand, it's like this is something that you want to be able to withstand like 70-mile-per-hour driving and like through a storm and stuff, transporting very heavy equipment, or big equipment. So like I understand like there's reasons, but Stevie says the Outback comes with a built-in rack. Does it? Or you don't have to buy extra rails and stuff for that? I don't know. Jonathan Crossley says, I never understood the cult-like following of the Subarus. Until my company gave me one as a company car, I'm in on Subaru now myself. Yeah, I mean, I like the Subaru. Like, do all Subarus have a boxer engine or no? Is it just the Impreza that have that? Yeah, I love the idea of it. My running buddy had a Subaru for a while, and then he started working at then he got his first job at as a labor law firm. He's a partner at a law firm now, and so now he can't really drive the Subarus because they're not union made. So he bought a Ford. Well, then he bought a car off his mom, kind of like I bought a car off my mother-in-law. It was a Toyota 4Runner, and he said that he got some looks when he showed up at union meetings and stuff. I was like, yeah, of course. He's like, it's made in the U.S., but not union made. So that's the only thing that really stopped me from looking at Subarus. Although we bought, what did we buy? We bought a Chrysler Pacifica. It's made in Canada, but I don't actually know if it's union made. I think like Dodge Chrysler is a union shop. I don't know if they are in Canada. The Journey we have is a union-made vehicle. But I don't know. Calvin says, the Subaru is fun to own until there's major engine maintenance at like 100,000 miles. I guess if you don't mind paying a mechanic to do it. Yeah, I mean, the thing is though, like I've never met someone that was like, yeah, my Subaru died. Did that happen to you, Calvin? Because like everyone that I meet is like, yeah, I'm pretty excited. My Subaru is going to hit 300,000 pretty soon. I can't wait to take a picture of it. Like that's what I hear more often. But I don't know. And Eric says that the Subarus all do have a boxer engine. Those are fun. Man, a lot of Subaru fans in here. Life Maximus says we have a 2017 Impreza and love it. Nice. I feel like the Impreza was always a very underrated car. Ray says his brother loves Subarus. And Eric's got a Forester and a Crosstrek, both bulletproof, reliable, but they're boring to drive, reassuring in the winter, however. I feel like the Forester went through so many changes. I like the really boxy ones. Those were a lot of fun. And then they started looking like RAV4s for a little while, but I really like the look of them anyway. So I'm not a huge like crossover guy, but the Forester I've always been very partial to. I like that one. But we're in minivan territory now, so that's where we're at. Matthew Acornero says, so if you're doing Chicago, New York, and CIM, what's the A race? The A race is CIM. Chicago, I got to touch base with my running buddy. Chicago's like 8 weeks away, believe it or not, guys. It's around the corner. I got to make sure he's still feeling good, see what he wants to do pace-wise so we can run together. New York, I'm just going to run for fun. We'll shoot for like a 3:15, 3:10, something in that. Probably closer to 3:10. We'll see. One of the things that I mentioned to Robbie, just to call him out, and Robbie Raccoon, is that he was going to run Erie, and he's like, if I screw that up, then I'd still have New York where I can try to, salvage a marathon season. And I was like, well, because I tried to get him, he's been trying to BQ. I know he hurt his ankle, but he was like, I was like, you should go to Run Tunnel Marathon. It's super fun. You'll enjoy it a lot. You'll really love the vibe because he's done a bunch of ultras as well. And so it's like a trail race for a marathon. It's super fun and, good chance of getting a fast time. And he didn't want to go out that far, so he's doing Erie Marathon, which I think Tommy Runs is also doing the Erie Marathon. I maybe have that wrong, but I thought he was too. So Robbie's doing that one. He's like, but if I don't have a great day there, maybe I'll try to run fast at New York. So I was like, if you want to run fast at New York, if you want to get that BQ, I'll try to pace you. So, you got to pay it forward. So that offer is out there. I'll remind him. I'm going to see him next week. So, that's a good idea. That's a good reminder. So I had the Falmouth coffee mug from last year that they gave me. And I think I told you guys already that I'm going to Falmouth next week. But I just got confirmation today, and I posted an Instagram story about it, teasing some details. But we'll do a group run Saturday, August 20th, 8 days from today. August 20th, 8:30 a.m. at the Boylston Marathon Sports. I think that's the one. 8:30 a.m. There's going to be like shoe try-ons, raffling off some shoes. I'll be there. I'm not sure what the schedule is for everyone else that's coming on the trip, but I can't confirm. But like other people that are going on this trip, it's like the same. I think it's pretty much the same trip as last year. It's for people that went out for the Falmouth trip, like Tommy Runs, Ashley Mateo, Believe in the Run will be there. So it should be pretty fun. So I don't know how many miles we're going to do, but we'll figure something out. I think that's pretty close to the Charles out there. So we'll run along I'm guessing we'll run along the water. I'm not positive. I don't know the route exactly, but 8:30 Saturday, August 20th. Come on out. So hopefully we'll see you guys there. All right. Brian Battaglia says, I'll be running Erie, also trying to BQ at the same pace as Robbie, 3:10 for our age. All right. Well, if you see him, you just grab him by the singlet and you just don't let go. He's a good racer, though. He smoked me when we did that 100-meter dash in Eugene. He got me. He got me both off the line. I got down in a stance, too. I got down. And he just like beat me off the line and just kept that and then increased the gap. Sorry. So he can move. He can move. He just needs to be able to spread it out over 26.2. Midlife Runner says, ever consider Jack and Jill Marathon? I saw some friends BQing hella downhill. It's the same. Tunnel Marathon and Jack and Jill are the same marathon, are the same route. Not exactly the same, but a lot of it overlaps. There was a time where the Jack and Jill Marathon did not count as a Boston qualifier. So like when I did Tunnel Marathon, they were like, make sure you're doing the right marathon. Tunnel Marathon wasn't saying that. People were telling me that because like one of them, you can get a BQ from it. The other one, you can't. So hopefully that's changed because that area generally is really fun. The one that I did it's lighted at the end of the tunnel or Tunnel Marathon. And it's like the first mile is flat because you're running through a train tunnel. It's dark, so you have to bring a headlamp. And then after like mile 1.5, it starts a gradual downhill for 2,000 feet over the course of the next like 20 miles. And then the last like less than 10K are flat. So it's pretty fun. Really fun. Views are beautiful. And I had lots of people to run with. So it was really great. Oh, Andrew says, my fall marathon is the week before Chicago. So you got like 7 weeks. I'm feeling the nerves a bit. All right. But you've been hitting it hard. So you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Andrew R wants to know, what will your training and recovery look like between all those marathons? So like I'm doing 5K training right now. And so between my 5K race, I've scheduled for September 10th. So that's exactly like 1 month before Chicago. So I'll probably put in 3 weeks of threshold workouts, threshold mile repeats, and long runs with lots of marathon effort miles in it. And then, so like a very, very mini build to run Chicago. But Chicago is kind of like the real start of the marathon training block. So I'll run Chicago, recover. I won't be running Chicago super intensely hard. And so hopefully the recovery will be quick. And then once I feel good, again, just doing the same thing. My marathon training is really boring in terms of like, it's not a flashy training plan. Mile repeats and and marathon effort miles in the long run. Not completely, but like if it's a 16-mile run, 10 of them will be at marathon effort, like a 10-mile chunk. Sometimes I do like Yasso 800s, but not often. So mostly it's like mile repeats. So I'll just kind of keep building intensity and mileage. New York will be a little bit of a, kind of like a long training run. Probably do. I'm not sure how I'll run that one. Maybe just even effort throughout the whole thing, but keep it chill. And then similar to Chicago, unless Robbie needs me to run with them. And then really crank it down after New York for a couple of weeks, just a few weeks into the taper. So like it's going to be an unusual training block. The recovery is just going to be, just easy running in between for like a week, hopefully not 2 weeks, and then get back into some workouts. So that's kind of the loose plan. Oh, Jackie says, what's in the Saucony box in the thumbnail? Just joined, so I might have missed it. Yeah, we did it right off the top. So we got the Endorphin Pro 3s. Get some focus on them. I got them in the black color with like this reflective, like blue stuff. It looks like a fish to me. The whole thing looks like a fish to me. But I'm very excited for it. So that's what was in the box. Calvin said, did Connor maybe show/tease a Boston 12? Any improvements to bring it back to how people liked it? No, I didn't see anything about the Boston. I didn't even know that. I think the Boston 11 came out and the Audio 7 came out. And I think they're pretty much exactly the same as last year. So I'm not even going to review either of those. Because as far as I can tell, they're not any different. So hopefully for the 12, it's something different. But I don't know. Until something really changes, like I'm not that interested in Ultra Boost anymore. Never been interested in Solar Boost. Not that interested in the Boston anymore. The Adios is interesting, but anytime I might pull out the Adios, I'd rather run in the Takumi Sen. So like, I know the Adios could probably do a little bit more kind of easy running, but if I'm going to do easy running, I'd rather just get a daily trainer, which means not an Adidas. Maybe the SL20. Maybe I need to look at another SL20, but I don't know. So I feel like Adidas is killing it in the race shoes, and then just like everything else is like, what's happening here? It's like an afterthought, in my opinion. I don't know. Stevie76 says, New York is Sarah Hall, Emma Bates, Alphine, Des Linden, Nell Rojas, and Stephanie Bruce. Yeah, it's going to be a star-studded cast. Pretty excited about it. I was thinking about it today. I think that Sarah Hall and Emma Bates have run the last 3 marathons together. Worlds? Was it World Championships? They both did Chicago, and then what was the third one? Oh, yeah, Worlds, Chicago, and then they'll do New York together. And so far, they've split it. Emma took Chicago, Sarah took Worlds. Yeah. They've been finishing close to each other each time. So like New York is the equalizer. Emma was at New York last year. I spotted her cheering on the course, and I put her in the video that I made for the New York Marathon. I even ran into her like when we were doing our shakeout run, like the day before. And I got a chance to like talk to her like literally on the run for a minute, not even a minute. So that was pretty cool. So it'll be super exciting to see her race it. I don't think she's raced the New York Marathon before. So I'm thinking, both Sarah and Emma train at altitude in hilly places. So, an altitude place is usually a hilly place. So I feel like they could do really good in New York. So it'll be exciting to see them. Alphine I just said that she feels faster than ever. So, who knows what that means? She'll be in the Rocket X2s, I imagine. She's been racing well in them. So, yeah, a lot to be excited about. Des, Nell, Stephanie Bruce. Where is Kellen Taylor running? I don't remember seeing. So New York and Chicago both announced. Where's Kellen Taylor running this fall? Is she running somewhere this fall? Has anyone seen that? I don't know. All right. Brian Nee wants to know, what's the term float mean when running intervals? It's supposed to be faster than a walk jog recovery? Yes. It depends on, like, it's a very vague term, and I think it's an intentionally vague term. But like, if I were to do float recoveries, say for like mile repeats, or like, I wouldn't do float recoveries for threshold effort work, because or float. Yeah, did I say float? Float recoveries for threshold level work. I would, because for threshold level work, I like to recover enough so I can do the next rep, but still keep the heart rate high. I suppose doing floats would be one way of doing that, but I'd rather just have short recoveries. Floats are something that I might put in a long run. So it might be like, let's say I want to get in 16 or 18 miles, do like a 2 or 3 mile warm up, 2 miles at marathon pace, 1 mile float, 2 miles marathon pace, 1 mile float. And so the float would probably be like, maybe 45 seconds per mile slower than the marathon effort, maybe a minute per mile slower. So not like a recovery pace, but like faster than easy is usually what it means. Now, if you're doing like 800s and you're doing recovery floats, or if you're doing floats, then, probably not that much of a difference in terms of minutes per mile, but that gives you an idea. So hopefully that makes a little bit more sense. All right, let's do a couple more. The kids are super excited right now because we're going to grandma's house right after this. Big family picture weekend. So, yeah, they're like really, really excited because it'll be the last time they get to see the cousins this summer. And, yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys can hear them, but I can hear them. They're just like screaming upstairs. All right. Bernard, Alcohol. Is that your real last name, Bernard? Says, I ran Chicago and New York City last year. The warm weather in Chicago was brutal. It was scary, the amount of people I saw getting medical help. You know what's funny is that people that ran Chicago last year were like, oh, it was hot. The people that didn't run Chicago were like, it wasn't that hot. It was like 70 degrees. And I was like, those two things can both be true. It can be not that hot for spectators and not that hot even for people that know marathoning. But Chicago stays humid pretty late into the summer. And that was a day that was hot enough that, if you listen to like Sarah Hall, like talk about her American record attempt, like she knew even like that morning going into it that like it might not be a day for breaking a marathon record, because she knew it was going to be too warm for it. But there's a lot of people that love to like kind of poo-poo on other people in comments and stuff. And they were like, it wasn't that hot. And I'm like, I don't know. I saw a lot of fallen soldiers along that last stretch on Michigan Avenue, or what is it, Indiana? When you're coming down that last stretch, when you finally turn around and head back up, there's a big boulevard that you're on. There's that grassy area in the middle. There's a lot of people laying down in there that I saw. So it was hot. Yeah. But last year's New York, though, Chef's Kiss, beautiful. It was like one of the best running days. I thought it was such a beautiful day that I thought about it when I was running Grandma's this year. Because in Grandma's, we had a beautiful day, tailwind for 26 miles as well. And whenever I felt bad, I remember thinking back to when I was in New York and I was standing on the sidelines, no bib, completely jealous, how everyone else got perfect marathon weather, 0 wind in New York. And I'm like, when does that happen? Temperatures were in like the low 50s, high 40s. I had a jacket on and pants, and a wool cap, not wool, knit cap. And I'm thinking, this is perfect marathoning weather. It's so rare to get this kind of great running weather lining up with a major marathon date. These guys are so lucky. I'm like, I'll probably never see a weather day this good again. And I got one for Grandma's. And I was like, I can't squander it. Can't squander it. So like, so if you did that double, at least you got one good day, All right, let me scroll down and catch up with you guys. Matt, what's going on, Matt Legrand? He says, background is looking dope AF, so clean. Thanks. It's much better than, I got this originally as a cloth on accident. I thought I was getting paper. That's what this is. And I accidentally bought cloth, and it looked like a Sears catalog shoot. Not a Sears catalog, Sears like portraits, like going to the mall and getting like your family portrait done. Like it looked like that, and people were calling me out on it. And I'm like, I know, no one knows more than I do. But that's the background that I had. And then I switched over and bought the paper, and I'm loving it. I really like the way it looks. Thanks for noticing. Andrew says Chicago was crazy last year. Lots of sub 3 people were dropping out by like mile 8. Oh yeah. And it was mid 70s at the start, but got into the 80s by the time the late 3 and 4 hour plus people were finishing. It got hot. It got hot. I remember that. Yeah. Bernard says that New York was perfect. I was 9 minutes faster. 9 minutes faster than Chicago. Weather was perfect in 2019 too. Was it? I'm trying to remember. I mean, that one I watched on TV. Huh. That's pretty, two years pretty close in a row having great weather. Yeah, Frank says, bad race day weather is good if you're going for a podium placement rather than a time, though. Yeah, but that applies to 0 people here. Maybe Adam. Maybe Adam's going for that podium because he's super fast in some of those races that he's in, but not me. So I'm always just like, when people are talking about like, race tactics, and I'm like, I just tune out because I'm like, that's not relatable to me. I don't understand. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Stevie76 says, I ran 2019. Can confirm. Awesome New York City weather. That's cool. Really nice. Awesome. It looks like we got Shannon here. She says, hey, co-fam. What was the unboxing? Trail shoe? No, it wasn't the trail shoe. It was just the Endorphin Pro 3. Yeah, I'm pretty excited to get some miles in it. Let's see. Eric says, Chicago in the 70s feels like 80s in Colorado. Can be brutal along the lake with that humidity. I'm trying to think. Was it in the 80s when I was out there in Colorado? Yeah, it was. It was in the 80s. It was hot. I wouldn't want to run a marathon in some of those. Like when I was running with Dez, or even when I was running with Doozer as well. Like when we got out into the open and there was no like shade, it got hot. It definitely got hot. I wouldn't, I wouldn't want to run a marathon in that. I mean, I'd enjoy running a marathon, but like that wouldn't be PR weather. Bernard says that the alcohol is his last name. Oh. I wasn't sure if it was a pseudonym, like Kofuzi. Bernard says, I did the Rosario 800 workout you posted last spring. It was tough, but a lot of fun. That one was tough because you just get no break. And I feel like, I've been looking. I love Ben Rosario because he puts everything out there. He lets you see exactly what he's doing. But I'm like, because I've tried following and doing a bunch of the workouts before too. And I'm like, these are not meant for normal humans. These are meant for pros. Because I feel like a lot of the workouts are designed for like, what are you going to do when it's mile 17 and the pack makes a move? You got to be ready. Like I feel like that's like the preamble to like, and so I've made this workout. Here's what we're going to do, guys. Like I feel like that's Ben Rosario. And so I feel like he makes great workouts for that. But I'm like, I just need a set it and forget it pace. Like that's what I need to be good at because I'm not trying to beat nobody. I'm not trying to cover moves, And so those workouts are so hard and they're not meant for regular people. Like I did it and I was like, this is hard. This is super hard. Brian Battaglia says, I remember Molly Seidel talking about floats as her favorite workout. She ran marathon pace plus 10 seconds, then would go marathon pace minus 10 seconds, and alternate back and forth every mile or a couple miles. That'd be tough. But you know what? You know what's amazing to me is that really well-trained runners can do that. Like for me, like when I'm saying I'm running marathon pace, that plus or minus 10 seconds is good for me. And, in terms of like actual execution over intention, right? So if I'm trying to hit 650 per mile, if it's 640, that's a bit fast. I'll feel it. If it's 7 minutes, it's a bit slow. I'll feel it, but like not unheard of for me in any given mile to bounce within 20-second per mile variance. And that's just my inexperience. But like, when I did that workout with Connor, the first rep that we did, I was going to try to lead the way on the threshold miles and then have him lead the way, or we were going to alternate. And then the first one, I went out in the first quarter at 5:30 pace, apparently. I knew it felt fast, but I didn't think it was that fast. And so what he did was after the first four, so I was running out and I thought I was doing about 6:15 pace. apparently I was going a lot faster than that. And what he did was very artfully, as we passed the quarter and he looked at his watch to see what the pace was, he just passed me real fast and then slowed me down. And I was like, all right, well, I guess I screwed that one up. And then I was like, can you just lead the rest of them? And he's like, yeah. And what he would say is, all right, for this one, we'll start out at 6:10. And then at 800, you let me know if you want to squeeze down a little bit faster. And I was like, I don't even know how to, I don't even know what that, I mean, I know what that means, but I'm like, how do I even know when I want to do that? I'm not really sure. And then he was telling me, like, when he does mile repeats, he can do them within 2 to 3 seconds of each other without looking at a watch. And I'm like, man, that's impressive. Like, it's a very unusual and unique and very specific skill, but it's so impressive to be able to watch that people can do that. And doing like marathon pace miles, like plus 10, minus 10, that's really impressive. Wow. So cool. All right, let's see what else we got here. CV76 says your pace or mine. I like that. That'd be a fun running shirt. I like that one. Frank said the 400 and 200 repeat times seem pretty consistent. Yeah, you know what? It's just 'cause I'm tired at the end of it. So like it just ends up being, I just run it hard is what ends up happening to me for 400s and 200s. I feel like I have to work a lot harder on the 400s to make it feel consistent, but I'm getting better at that consistency. But like if someone was like, run the next 200 2 seconds faster, I'd be like, I would either not hit it or be 3 or 4 seconds faster and be exhausted, So like I can't, like when people are really talented at the track, they could do that. They know by feel, like 1 or 2 seconds different. And I'm like, that's amazing. I don't know. It's really impressive. Yeah. Oh, Sean Devlin. I remember this year. He says, I ran Chicago in 2007 when they had to shut it down from the heat. Absolutely wrecked me. 5 miles in, I knew it was going to be a disaster. Everyone did. You know what was amazing that year? So that year, I was watching a friend, one of my wife's friends. She lives up in Minneapolis now. And I actually met them, her and her husband, when I was in New York last time I was in New York. They were visiting New York without the kids. And so I met up with them for lunch. But so we were watching her run the race, and we were following her around the course. I think it was the year before that is the year, maybe it was the year after that. One of the years I watched her race, it was so cold. Like perfect marathoning, rather. But it was like in like the low 40s. And then this year it was super hot. And the main thing that stands out to me is that like they brought fire trucks and were just shooting the hose over the street so it would like rain down on runners. This was at like mile 25, mile 26 coming up Michigan Avenue. And right at that part of Michigan Avenue where it turns over and then you go up Mount Roosevelt, so Michigan and Roosevelt, a very smart marketing team was able to mobilize and got like a bunch of people to give away free samples of ice cream that day. Although I guess maybe it wasn't that smart because I have no idea what brand it was. But like I remember being like, this is marketing genius. You guys were able to execute like this. Amazing. I mean, I guess they probably knew it was going to be hot leading into that day. But the fact that they were able to pull that off and get like thousands of free ice cream away at that spot, it's a pretty congested spot, It was pretty cool. Although it's close, you take the red line. You can just hop off the train. You're right there. So there's that. But that's what stands out to me. That was crazy because like they had loudspeaker announcements saying like the race is canceled. Stop. They were like stop running. Everyone kept running, but they were like stop running. It's too hot. It's dangerous. It was wild. Really, really wild. Time to Run says, I feel the same about like when we were talking about like minuscule ability to know how to run like a 40-second 200 versus a 39 or a 38. Time to Run says, I feel the same when people say, I don't need to bring my heart rate monitor along on a heart rate workout. Crazy skills. Yeah, I feel like when people say that, though, I feel like there's a lot of condescension to it, too. I forget where I posted. Oh, I was supposed to. I did the walkthrough of my last workout on that video, the week 3 session 4. Someone was like, "You're just overthinking it, man. Just go out there and run." And I'm like, "Well, you're probably really good at that, and you probably have been doing this for years, and so this stuff comes naturally to you." But for like normal people who don't normally spike up and very rarely run 200s, like this is all very foreign, and being able to look at the numbers afterwards is really important to let you know if you're doing it right, and even during, not that I spend that much time looking at it during, like if I'm doing a 200 and it's supposed to be mile race pace, just run hard. That's kind of like what I can feel. I'm starting to get a sense for like when it's too hard and when it's not, but like, just run it hard and get close. And then like, look at the watch every once in a while just to see if you're in the ballpark, but run the workout. But this guy was like, people get mad. People get really mad in running when you rely on technology. And the people that get mad when other people rely on technology tend to be people that have been taught and trained for decades on how to do these things by feel, and are mad that other people don't already know how to do it. So I always take special offense when people say stuff like, "Just leave the watch at home." I'm like, tell me about how many years you ran cross country. Tell me about how many years you ran track and did 400-meter repeats. It's like people get really intense about it. I'm just like, let people do what they want to do. Andrew says, "I'm with you, and I'm terrible at pacing. Can't really feel the difference between, say, 6:45 and 7:10. It takes a pretty big gap in pace before I realize I'm off where I want to be." Yeah, I notice when it's too late. That's usually when I notice. Yeah. So that we're on the same page here, Andrew. Edgar Smith says, "Just catching the end. Is it crazy that I bought another Patch Project Not Elite shirt on sale now? Are they on sale? Are they a discount? If they are, they didn't tell me, because then I would let people know. But yeah, I mean, we did a bigger run of them this time, and I don't know if it's sold out or not. Interesting." Stevie76 says he's driving 5 miles per hour over the speed limit by feel. My father-in-law had an old Chevy truck that had the speedometer stopped working, so you had to do that. That was pretty fun. That was pretty fun to try to figure out how fast were you going. But this is in rural Iowa, probably like 15 years ago. So, I mean, it was still in the 2000s, but it was, I guess, a different time. But that was fun. That truck was awesome. It was so beat up by the time he got rid of it. One time a deer had like he was driving down the road like 50 miles an hour, and a deer had like rammed it like as fast as it could. I mean, I think it was trying to, I don't know what the deal with the deer was, but it hit his car in the truck bed, in the back on the side. So this giant dent, deer-sized dent in the side of the truck bed. It had power windows. Oh no, it didn't have power. You have to roll the windows, and then after a while, the speedometer stopped working. I mean, none of like the climate control worked. It wasn't even a crew cab. It was just the regular like 2-person. It was like a bench seat in the front. That truck was amazing. It was so good. Oh yeah. Stevie76 says, "I don't know if it was because of Chicago 08, but San Antonio Marathon, or Chicago 07, the hot year, but San Antonio Marathon 08 had staged city buses throughout the course for runners to cool off." Really? Is that normal? Do they normally not do that? I've never heard of that. I mean, I've heard of like tents and stuff, but I bet you the RBC Half Marathon probably does something like that next year. Oh, that was a hot day. It was so humid too. Hot and humid. Says, "All we were saying is give pace a chance." That's funny. I like it. What matters to Matt says, "For me, the watch confirms what a pace feels like." I agree. Although, here's the thing. I am starting to wonder if, just because like I feel like I'm getting a good sense. I've been doing my mile repeat workouts for a while. I'm getting pretty dialed in onto what marathon effort feels like. And I'm really starting to wonder, anecdotally, it feels like my instantaneous pace, like the pace that's like on the watch when you're looking at it when you're running. I feel like I've been running in Coros, Garmin, and Polar lately. I feel like they're off compared to then if I look at like the split, if you'd have like auto lap set on and like it tells you how much time elapsed over the last mile. I feel like it's been off, whether I use a stride foot pod or not. I feel like Garmin was the one anecdotally that seemed like the most divergent from like what the instant pace was and versus how many minutes and seconds it took me to run a mile. Like, so I don't know. So I've been paying just less attention to pace and just running a lot more on effort and heart rate. And now I'm on power. I've been trying to run without the stride foot pod a little bit, testing out some more wrist-based power. And I don't know. I'm just running at this point. And then using the track as the way to ultimately keep track of how fast I'm going. But I don't know. I'm just feeling it out, I guess. Feeling it out. It goes in spurts, pendulum swings. I used to run with like stride foot pod, watch, chest heart rate monitor. Now I'm like none of those things. I still have the watch, but yeah. Jason Dahl says, I usually just laugh off humble bragging and running. Okay, boss, I'm just going to keep doing what I do. My watch was $700. I'm going to use it a lot. I love that. That's really funny. It's really funny. Yeah, Matt Legrand says, I grew up running track and cross, and I'm angry about some dude in Chicago in spikes. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of angst out there for people like me that are in the influencer space. I'm coming to terms with that term. I know people like to use it pejoratively as well, but I'm still just going to accept it and, embrace it, I guess. But yeah, there's a lot of angst because it's like, who's this guy? Why are people watching him? I run faster. So there's a lot of like, well, if he's doing it, how come I'm not? And I feel like it's, I don't know. I'm like the, I don't know, receptacle for a lot of people's running angst, I guess. But I'm happy to take that. Hopefully it makes them feel better about themselves. And Matt Pedro says, hey, Co, will you run in New Balance shoes for the New York Marathon? Yes. I'm hoping that it's the SC Elite 3. But I don't know what the release date is for that. Hopefully it's that. I mean, I don't have it yet. They sent me the SC Trainer and a pair of 880s. Could I run a marathon in the SC Trainer? Oh, yeah. I think so. I might prefer to run a marathon in the RC Elite 2 than running a marathon and like at least marathon for time, in the SC Trainer. But either one would be really good if the SC Elite 3 isn't available by then. Hopefully it's the SC Elite 3. And Dan Around says like the Path Project shirt is 20% off in limited sizes. Oh, okay. Let's get rid of them all. Let's sell them. All right, I'm gonna have to post something on Instagram. Stevie Simmons thinks that the deer that attacked my father-in-law's truck had rabies. Oh man, now I'm getting nervous because I just got bit by a dog in that neighborhood. Although these events are like 12 years, 15 years apart. So, yeah, maybe different. But by the way, the dog bite, now the scab just looks kind of like scabby. So it looks gross, but it looks like a healthy scab. So I don't think I have rabies. No one's contacted me from the Iowa Department of Public Health or the Dubuque County Sheriff saying that like the dog wasn't up to date or anything. So I'm assuming everything. So no news is good news. I feel fine. I've been able to do lots of workouts and run a bunch. So the ankle itself, that region is biomechanically okay. I don't think that there's any infection. So I think I'm good there too. So yeah. Eric, I think this is a pretty good estimation of what 5K pace is though. I only know that I'm close to what should be a 5K or 10K pace when I'm uttering what the F, or when I'm uttering F this between wheezes. That's about right. I feel like that's about right. Yeah. I mean, mile pace, I feel like if you do mile pace for more than like, 400 meters, then your body's just like, oh my goodness. There isn't even time to utter anything. It just hurts. But 5K 10 pace, you can be like, this is miserable. Andrew says, I once had a car with a broken speedometer. I eventually got pretty good at telling the speed by which gear it was in and the RPMs. Yeah, I think that's definitely possible to do. You can get pretty good at that. I usually would do that on my motorcycle. Although the motorcycle had a speedometer that worked just fine as well. Oh, but my first motorcycle did have a problem with the speedo towards the end. Yeah, I was guessing on that one too. I used to have a 1984 Yamaha Seika 400 standard bike. I bought it when I bought it. It was like 2000, so it was like an 18-year-old bike when I bought it. That was a fun little bike. That was a really fun bike. Yeah, really nimble. It was fun. But yeah, towards the end, I forgot I had a broken speedometer. And JP says there's only smalls left in the non-elite shirt. All right. If anyone needs a small, 20% off. All right, Carlos Sangalong says, just like the Saucony Endorphin Pro 3 while listening to you, Co. A slip-on underfoot feel feels awesome. What I wish the Edge Plus would have felt like. Super shoe bouncy between ZoomX and Blast Turbo. With a rocker. Yeah, I mean, it feels softer. It feels taller. It feels like there's a lot more under the forefoot. So we'll have to see. The Edge Plus felt very firm to me. I think it's the plate position. It's all has to do with the plate position. And then the plate position, I think, is pretty similar in this Magic Speed 2. The Magic Speed 2 as well. And so I think the plate position makes a big difference. So I wonder if with the Endorphin Pro 3... Excuse me. Sorry about that. I wonder if in the Endorphin Pro 3, if they've changed the plate position. That's one of the big things that I'm really interested about. Because I feel like that's a quick way to change how squishy a shoe feels. I mean, I guess it's not that quick. I think it probably takes a lot of work and reinvesting in a lot of things, or a lot of additional expense. But in terms of like, you don't have to completely change like stack heights and foam formulations, but you could do a lot of tweaking just with plate position, I think. So, I don't know. Excited to get some testing done in that one, and I think that's going to be a good place to leave it for today, guys. This weekend, no live streams because I've been doing them Monday through Friday, but I'll be in the in-laws until later in the week. So the next couple of live streams, we'll have live streams, I think, but they'll be from Nubian, Iowa. So I'll bring some extra camera equipment so we can do all that stuff out there for kind of like the last weekend of summer for the kids, because then they'll start school like the week after that. Yeah, so we're already there. Seems really quick, but summer is in its final legs. So hopefully you guys enjoy it out there. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your run. Stay hydrated. Be kind to yourself because it is going to be hot. Don't worry about that pace on the watch too much. And be safe out there, everybody. Until I see you again. Thanks.